Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Josh Holcombe, and I'm the CIO for IGTech365. Continuing in our series about technology news and information, we will be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of Microsoft Windows updates. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. We all see the notifications pop up at the bottom of our screen telling us that you have an update available, right? Well, in my experience, there's three common types of responses to that message. The first common type of response is the person that immediately hits the update now button without even considering consequences, all because some message popped up and says, go ahead and do it. The second common response is the person that dismisses the notification altogether and never updates anything. This is usually because they got burnt at some time in the past from doing an update. The last common response, which is usually the most dangerous, the I don't know if I should do the update, and then hundreds of update notifications later, they decide, I may as well do the update now, and boom. Now you're stuck updating for hours, if not days, with a very real possibility of major system issues. If you found yourself in any of those positions that I've mentioned, or possibly another less common situation, don't worry. I'm going to clarify what updates or patches are and why there are sometimes issues when you apply updates, and best practices for applying updates for the future. If you like this type of content, please hit the like and subscribe below, and make sure you set the notifications to all so you get the newest content first. So let's define an update or a patch. So typically the majority of Windows updates recently are security related patches, but can also include feature updates, quality updates, driver updates, and more. These updates or patches allow the end user to patch vulnerabilities or holes in the operating system that have been exploited, fix bugs, and apply new features. So I think it's story time. So imagine that there are three guys in three boats in the middle of a lake, but they can't swim. The first guy has no tech experience, and he gets a pair of deflated floaties inside of his boat. The second guy is technically savvy, and he gets a life vest and some duct tape inside of his boat. And the third guy is an IT professional, and he gets Flex Seal, tools, and a spare life raft, just in case something happens. Now that the scene is set, the water has the mythical woodpecker fish that like to peck at the bottom of the boats until they create holes. Things aren't looking good for these guys as the first holes start to appear and the water starts filling the boats. The first guy sees the hole and starts to panic, puts on his floaties, and jumps out of the boat, trying to make it back to shore while the boat sinks. The second guy puts duct tape over the holes, but it's not like Flex Seals, especially in the commercial, so it starts to leak. As the boat gets more holes, eventually he puts the life vest on, jumps out of the boat, and tries to make it back to shore while his boat sinks too. Lastly, the third guy, the IT professional, right? He notices the first hole, so he immediately deploys his life raft, and the same hole appears in it. So he's able to get the boat on top of the life raft with his IT superpowers. So he grabs the tools, the Flex Seal, and goes to work patching the first hole in the life raft. When he does, he notices that a few more pop up. So he seals those holes too. A few minutes later, the life raft is watertight, and now he starts working on the regular boat because he knows where the holes are going to be coming next. So he uses the tools to reinforce the bottom of the boat in the areas that will be attacked next. Once the boat is reinforced, the IT guy puts it back in the water, loads up the life raft, and attempts to pick up the other two guys. Attempting to swim to shore, the first guy in the floaty gladly gets in the boat. But the second guy that's tech savvy saw what the IT guy did and refuses the ride back to shore, saying, I can do it myself. Because this is a daily occurrence, eventually that life vest from that guy starts to degrade, and the second guy doesn't make it back one day. The moral of the story is, don't be the second guy, right? Because He actually is the most dangerous of them all. Breaking down the story, we understand that the first guy is the typical user of any computer. The second guy is the guy in the office that people go to when there's problems on their computer instead of calling IT. And the third guy is successful because of the approach. The reason patching the first hole in the boat created new holes is typically the Microsoft engineers creating the patches are focused on the hole and not the repercussions of fixing the hole. I've done a security patch in a demo environment recently and the printers just stopped working. Crazy, right? Not really, because the patch that I applied blocked the transmission of the data being sent to the printers. 1 week later, I applied the hot fix or fix to what they broke initially, and the printer started working again. Fixing one problem can inadvertently cause other issues if the proper testing is not done first. Microsoft has the majority of the operating systems deployed on the planet, which gives them the largest target on their back. And there are tons of people out there firing at that target. They typically patch critical issues quickly to avoid exposure, but at speed, there's not adequate time to test. Let's get into some best practices about applying Windows updates. Let's first talk about the automatic updates. This process is convenient, but it can put you in a reactionary position when things go wrong. If you're going to deploy this method, make sure that you have a quality backup solution in place and an IT superhero on standby to fight those fires. The second method is waiting on the patches to be deemed safe by the IT community before applying them. Unfortunately, this takes someone dedicated to performing the research. But you could leave the operating systems vulnerable to attack in the interim while they're doing that research. The last and preferred best practice is to create a test environment and deploy patches immediately as they come out and test the results. Apply critical patches immediately after the testing is done and schedule the standard updates to be deployed after thorough testing is complete. This situation is the approach the IT professionals took in the story with the life draft, and they test so that the regular boat wasn't exposed to the dangerous situation that it was in. That approach is our standard at IG Tech, helping us deliver consistent results at the highest level. Once again, if you like this type of content, please hit the like and subscribe below and set the notifications to all so you get the newest content first. That's all the time that we have for today. I'm Josh Holcombe, CIO for IGTech365. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.